Tell me, who can tell me what is the other word for natural numbers? Counting. Does anybody remember where that is?
The first
The little tiny one. So here is natural, which is counting. What is the first number you learned with? 1. Okay. All right. After that, what did we learn? I'm going to cross it off. Whole numbers, because what's the number that we added when we got to whole numbers?
2.
No dessert. No dessert. What number did we add? 0. Okay? No dessert. 0. Those are your whole numbers. All right? Then we learned we could round. And we could have what kind of numbers? This is integers because they include what? Negatives, positive, and what else?
And 0.
0, whole, yeah, that's correct, and all of them are whole numbers, okay? Because whole numbers are all the positives in 0, and counting numbers are all the positives, right? So we just added negatives, okay? So now I got integers gone. Remember what there you go. What's next? We added the parts of the birthday cake. We didn't get the whole birthday cake ourselves. We got the parts, which are rational. Okay? So rational included what kind of numbers? Fractions, parts, decimals, all that kind of stuff. All right? Any number that could be turned into a fraction is a rational number. What's the whole big set called? Real. Because remember I told you in high school you're going to learn about what kind of numbers? Real. Imaginary. Okay? The only numbers we know about right now are actual, tangible, real numbers.
Can you just give us one example of an imaginary number?
I will sometime, but not today. Okay? How about irrational? That's by itself over here. It's still a real number, but it's just irritable. It's irrational. And what was one of the ones I told you? Pi. What else?
Root square.
Square root of 2. It doesn't have to be every square root, though. Remember, what is the square root of 4? Does anybody remember? Do you remember how to put it in your calculator? What? It's just 2, actually. Okay? 2 squared is 4. All right? And to undo a square, we use a square root. Does anybody remember how to put a square root in their calculator? Okay, let's see. Do you see it right here? It's right on top of the x squared button. Okay? So, if it's on top of the x squared button, it's in blue. We have to hit second, square root, and we get the square root symbol, and it's flashing inside of it. We're going to put in 4. And do you see how the arrow's going? I'm going to arrow out of the square root, and I'm going to hit enter, and what do I get?
2.
Okay? So since it's a whole number, it is rational. It's not irrational. All right? Every whole number can be written as a what? Fraction. Okay? Which makes it rational. All right? Okay. So, you know where you're at. Okay? Miss Moon's giving this tomorrow. I don't think we're quite ready. Okay? Like I said, we're just a little bit behind Miss Moon. So, what I'm going to do is you are going to get this exact same thing plus some conversions that you have to do on, and you're going to have to fill that out as a quiz. Okay? Yes, you can stick it in your notes. Okay? But I probably will give it Tuesday. And I will remind you on Monday. So I would expect you to do some studying in between now and then based on how well you can fill that out today. Okay?
I still couldn't read that thing. I know it's good.
How old is your phone?
It's new.
It's new.
Ask me that question.
to the left. All right. Here is two different ways the real number system can be diagrammed. Okay, so that you recognize that it can be diagrammed in two different ways. All right. This is the most common, but sometimes you'll see it like this. Okay, so you need to recognize that real numbers can be rational, integers, whole, counting, mean it's going here. And these are your irrationals, all right? So two different ways, all right? There's some information about relationships about sets, but let's turn the page. Okay? It says rational numbers. It says, what is a rational number? Well, we define it as any number that can be turned into a fraction. Okay?
And the irrational is the opposite.
Correct. Any number that, what would be the word I would put? Cannot be turned into a fraction. Now there is a more sophisticated definition. You're never asked for the definition. What you are asked is which number is irrational or which number is irrational. Which number would not belong to the rational number set. Okay, so basically you would be given numbers and you would need to figure out, and if you can take all those numbers and try and turn them into a fraction, and they don't, then you know. The famous one they do to you, though, is give you a whole number, because the first instant you're thinking rational, fraction, whole number's not a fraction. You've got to remember, whole number is a fraction, okay? That's correct. So, maybe we say all whole numbers are included, okay? So you don't just think fraction, all whole numbers are included. Irrationals are decimals that never end, okay? Like pi. Some other famous ones are the square root of 2, square root of 8. I see square root of 10 on a lot of tests. But what they'll do over here is they'll give you the square root of 25. And you have to try it. And when you do that, it'll turn into 5, which is a whole number, which can be made into 5 over 1. So it's rational. So just because it's a square root doesn't mean that it is irrational, okay?
What does the square root do?
It undoes the square. That's why the symbols are right. You know how you've got addition and subtraction? Okay, subtraction undoes addition. Division undoes multiplication. Breaks it apart, right? Well, guess what? The square root breaks apart squares, perfect squares. Okay? And you'll find that there are things that are not perfect squares, okay, later on in algebra. All right. Now, unfortunately, we've got two different calculators, not in this room, but like Miss Moon does. And we found that there's two different sophistications of calculators. And what happened was our calculators will turn this into a fraction, although it is not rational. Anytime. What operation is going on here? Multiplication. When you have a number next to a variable, it's meaning to multiply. So we could put this in our calculator as 4 second. Do you see where the pi symbol is? Everybody see it? Yes or no?
Yes.
You're going to hit that, and that means 4 times pi. I could hit enter, and it'll give me this number. Remember I told you that these calculators they can only hold so many digits after the decimal. Okay? Unfortunately, this will turn into a fraction. Math, enter. But it is not a fraction. Anytime you deal with pi, it's a never-ending number. It will not be a rational number. So what you need to get in your head is anything that has an operation with pi is irrational. Okay? So, how about this one? Is it going to be rational or irrational? Irrational. Okay? What about this one? Is it going to be rational or irrational? Irrational. Now, I do want to show you how to put these in the calculator. Okay? So, if I had 36, what does that line mean?
Divide.
So, all I would do is 36. Everybody with me? Because if you're not doing it with me, then you're not going to remember when you get to an assessment. Divided by second and the power up key, because that's pi, right? Everybody got that in their calculator. If I came around, that's what's in your window.
Yes.
Okay? That's what I need. I need you to speak up. Okay? I can't know if you need help. All right? Divided by. Now hit second. And see the pi sign right there? And hit that button right there. Okay? Anybody else? Hit enter.
What did you do?
Okay? Now, even though this number is going to end, I can tell you that this number does not have a pattern, and that's how I know it's irrational. If I went to math, enter, it doesn't turn it into a fraction, does it? Okay? All right. Let's look at this one. Pi squared divided by 9. So all you do is put your second key and hit your power up button. Now I need that x squared key. Where is that on my calculator? Oh, they signed the wrong one. That's okay. Thank you. Where do you guys remember how you put a square in?
Yeah.
Right here, the x squared. Okay? So I'm going to push x squared. I get pi squared. Everybody have that on their calculator. Who doesn't? You got it? Do you have it? You have that right up there on your calculator.
Yes, I do.
Yes?
I do.
Yes? Hector does it? Okay, let's help Hector. Here. Don't do it for him. You have to show him. Alright, so we want second. And see how the pi key is right there? You're going to hit this. And then you're going to hit x squared. Okay? Next, we're going to, what does that line mean?
No, I was trying to put decimal for you.
Divide by, and what is it? 9. And hit enter. Okay? Math, enter. Is it a fraction? No. Okay? So is it rational? No. All right? Let's do square root of 25. So second, square root sign, which is right here. Okay? We're going to put in 25. Everybody with me or not? Okay?
Turn into 5.
Hit enter. It's 5. So is it rational?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Square root of 3. Let's try that one. Second, square root key, 3. Get out of underneath that sign. So hit that arrow. Get out of there. All right? And hit enter. What do you do next to check to see if it's a fraction? Math. Enter. Okay, so is it rational or irrational? All right. Okay. You do it. Okay. What about this one? How am I going to put that in the calculator?
2.8.
Bam 1.
And then you keep repeating the
891, 891, 891, 891. That's probably enough. Okay? In other words, what that line means, because it's over 8, it's over 9, and it's over 1, that all three of those are repeating in that order. Okay? So I've got 2.891, 8.91, 891 in my calculator. What do I want to hit next?
Math, enter.
Math, enter, enter.
And
And look at that. It's a fraction, isn't it? So is it rational or irrational?
It's rational.
Rational. Okay? What about over here? I'm going to put 2 second, just like I see, square root 18. I'm going to arrow out. And I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to check to see, is that,
That's irrational.
I'm going to hit math, enter, enter, and it's irrational. Okay? Who got error?
Hector.
All right, Hector. You and that calculator aren't getting along, are you? Hit clear. Okay. All right. See when I said you had to arrow out? Let's try it again. 2. Okay. Second square root. Then do 18. Hit enter. Well, it's arrow out first. See how you're still underneath that square root symbol? Arrow out. Hit enter. Okay, now hit math. It's going to take your last, hit enter. See how it took your last answer. It's trying to change it into a fraction. Hit enter. Okay? Alright? Okay. Everybody do the last couple? Did you figure it out?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you are good with putting 3 squared in? How many of you are unsure? Anybody unsure how to put 3 squared? Hector, can you put 3 squared in? Do it. What is it? Give me an answer. What? Because I know what it is. Ooh, 4 to the 3rd. Do you remember how to put to the power of 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a irrational or rational? Rational. Okay. Do you guys remember the Chinese hat to the 3rd power? All right, so is it rational or irrational?
Irrational.
Oh, why is it irrational?
Rational.
Yeah.
3 to the power, 4 to the power of 3. What is it, rational or irrational?
Rational.
It's a whole number. Can I make that a fraction? So it is what?
Rational.
Rational. All right, which of the following could be found between the 2 numbers on the number line? So what the first thing I need to do, there's a test question like this on your assessment. So I'm going to do 2 times pi. I'm going to hit second and the arrow up key to get my pi. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm just going to do 6.283. I'm not going to go out any farther than that, okay? Because I know there's probably no way it's going to go farther than that. Then I'm going to come over here and do pi squared. So second, that arrow up key gives me pi. I'm going to hit x squared, and I'm going to hit enter, and I get, is this what you got? So I'm going to write above it 9.869, okay? Which of the following could be found between the 2 numbers on the number line? So I'm going to do these, and I'm going to figure out which one is between these 2 numbers. So I've got second, arrow up is pi, divided by 4, hit enter. Is that going to go between those 2 numbers?
No.
Okay, so I can cross off A. I'm going to go to B. 16 divided by second, power up button, which gives me pi. I'm going to hit enter. It's a whole number 5, right? Is the whole number 5 between the whole number 6 and the whole number 9?
No.
Nope. So that one can't do it. You see how much easier these are now? Okay. All right. Let's do the next one. C. Second square root 56. Arrow out of that square root sign. Hit enter. 7.48. Is that between 6.2 and 9.8?
Yes.
There we go. We got our answer.
Number two
Okay.
is the easiest one.
You do the second one. Which of the following could not be between the two numbers on the number line? I'm going to be handing you out your work for today.
Ma'am,
Don't give the answer away.
Okay, I have a question.
there's two answers that
That one won't work for me. I don't know because that is 5.09. That won't work. Nope. So it's
It has to be B because 9.9, this is 9.8. How does, that would be over here, 9.9. Here's 9.8.
I know there's several answers that can't go between it.
Which of the following could not be between it?
So there's several.
Oh, she meant to ask which of the following could be between it. Ooh, Miss Moon made a mistake. Miss Moon made a mistake. You're looking for the one that would fit between it. Or which of the following could not be. There's three that could not be between it. You can do it either way. There's one that could be and three that cannot be. Okay? All right. There is multiple choice answer that could be, could not. Which of the following could not be found between these two numbers? There are three that could not be between those three numbers. All right. She should have put. It's a little off there.
Yes.
I wonder if she's taught that. She's already taught this.
No, but I did it right.
Okay.
Look.
What I'm trying to say is, look it. This could not be.
That could be.
That could be, right? This one
Could
could
not.
not be. This
Could
one
not.
could not be. This one could be, right?
Yes.
That one could be.
Ma'am,
Okay.
the
These three could not be.
B can be. It's
Could
9.4.
not.
24.
9.4 isn't between. Oh, it's 9.4?
Hold up.
Oh, Lord, just throw that answer out. Okay? All right, put that in your notes. You're going to have a quick practice on converting. You might need to use your yellow card.
7.4.
9.42.
And it can be between it. So
We're
the
talking
only
about
answer
people.
that
I'm telling you it was made a mistake anyway.
Yeah, beating somebody.
Okay. We as teachers made a big boo-boo there, okay?
Oats too.
Yes, that goes in your notes. This
What?
is a grade.
I didn't hear you.
No.
Get started.
I don't like
So,
grades.
yes, B.
is it our first grade?
Nope, your third grade.
I'm in third grade.
I'll give you your other
The
two
thing we
grades
did is
back
like on
tomorrow.
notes.
I've already graded them.
The thing we just did is like on notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on, start. You might need to use your orange paper.
Can we work with the?
Your orange paper.
Do we work by ourselves?
I would love for you to work by yourself. You need your orange paper. Okay? This is, yeah, in case you don't remember. It looks like a lot, but it goes fast. Okay? Especially once you remember what to do.
Ma'am, on the math portion that's fraction, it has decimal, but it don't have percent.
What? Yes, it does.
When
Down
you
at the bottom.
No, when you hit math.
Correct. Because you have to divide by 100 or multiply by 100. Okay? If you're going from decimal to percent, you're getting a number that looks bigger, so you're multiplying. If you're going from percent to decimal, you're getting a number that looks smaller, so you're dividing. Okay? decimal to percent. All you do is multiply your number by 100.
G1?
Percent to decimal, divide by 100.
On the percent, you want the decimal turned into a fraction, or you okay for
Just wondering.
No, leave it at,
Because there's something
which one?
when you the decimal to percent, if
From
you're
Blarney.
when you multiply it by 100.
No, that's fine. Just put
Okay.
down what you see. Okay? I don't need it as a fraction. It would say percent to fraction if I wanted that. Okay? Go.
Until you get it back, you make it zero.
Cool. What do you need? You didn't get it? 1.37. See? Put in the wrong number. That's all. Okay? Okay? No? You're okay. Alright.
Miss, am I doing it right?
No. Are these percents?
What you mean?
Those are fractions.
Oh, I forgot to put the percent sign.
No.
Oh, sweet. I heard the wrong one. I did
Yeah.
this one.
When it says decimal to percent, you want decimal to percent.
Oh, I just like decimal.
Ah.
Whoa. Two.
Hey, it worked.
He's being rude.
What?
You guys are rude back and forth to each other all the time. I heard that, so I'm not gonna listen to a word of it. All right? It worked. Would you like to have a private conference where we can discuss that?
Forward to say yes.
Okay, when you're converting a decimal to a fraction, what does it say to do if you have a mixed number?
Write the whole number down.
Write the whole number down and then only convert
It's a fraction.
the decimal part or the fraction part.
Oh.
Okay? So if I had 1.25, I would write down 1 and then only convert this part to 1/4. Okay? If I had 1 and 2, I'm trying to think of something, 2/5, okay, and I needed a decimal, I would do 1, take 2 divided by 5, and I would end up with 0.4. Okay? Alright?
How do you do the fraction?
Just a fraction to a decimal, you have the paper that tells you.
No, fraction is
Oh, you're already there, huh? Okay, well, first you gotta take it to a decimal, then you take it to a percent. How do you like that answer? Okay?
I still don't see how I do that. We already did it. Already did that.
You've converted a fraction to a decimal, and then a decimal to a percent. So first divide it, then multiply it by 100.
So much easier whenever you get
Yes.
these calculators.
Convert, that's fine. to a fraction. So if it's just if it only has parts, you just put the parts in, hit math, enter. If it has a whole and a part, you write down the whole, put the parts in, hit math, enter. Okay? When you have a mixed one, we'll take the whole number, write it down, write your one down. Then just put your 0.13 in here. No, it's not 0.03. 0.13. So you've already taken care of your one. There you go. Hit math. Enter. And you add 13 over here. Okay, I'll give you guys a hint. What are you working on? Okay, fraction. 2%. First thing you're going to have to do, convert fraction to decimal. Then take your decimal and multiply by 100 to get your percent. Okay, what about the other way around? Okay, if I have a percent, in other words, you're going to have to get percent to fraction. You're going to divide percent by 100. Then, because then you get decimal, right? Okay, to get decimal. Then, what do? Decimal to fraction. Put it in, you could just hit math, enter. Right? I would just write 0.6 with 1 over it. That's right. Just repeating. You know what? Cross off the percent to fraction. You're never gonna have to do that. Just cross those off. You don't have to do them. Okay? All right. Put this in the front of your book. This will be your work. As soon as you hit the tomorrow, I don't want to have to remind you. Just come in and get to work. Okay? Don't worry about the percent to fraction. I'm gonna take that off. You're never gonna have to do that. What about fraction?
We do.
How you just down?
What? You're never gonna have to do fraction to percent either.
Well,
Just I would put it in the hole so that it doesn't slip out. Huh?
I'm already done with them. Oh, we got that.
I don't think you're ever gonna have to do this one either. Yeah. I should redo those sheets. Ooh, this has been recording this whole time.
Is that a good thing?
No, because it was recording all the way through our practice, so it makes it really long. Uh-oh, sorry.